according to the military and reporting cited by the Defense Outlook defense blog. Israeli officials described the event as the first fighter-to-fighter aerial engagement of the current Israel-Iran war.
For the first time in modern air warfare, an F-35 was able to shoot down a piloted aircraft in actual combat. This was not a simple encounter. This is the moment that military experts have long been waiting for, that engineers have prepared for, and one of the reasons why the U.S. spent over $1 trillion on this aircraft. On the morning of March 4, an Iranian aircraft was spotted in the airspace of Tehran. According to Israel, an F-35 Adir was used to take down the target. The target was a Yak-130, a piloted combat aircraft. An important detail, this was not a dogfight. There was no chase and no prolonged battle. It happened quickly. But before we start, don't forget to like this video. It means a lot to us content creators. Thank you very much, and now let's get started. According to the Israeli Air Force, the target was spotted. They immediately locked on and launched a missile. In just a few seconds, the battle was over. According to the commander, Brigadier General D, they saw the target, approached, and immediately launched. No drama, no intense maneuvers, and no close combat. A quick decision was made, and that's where history was made. The reason why the F-35 was used is simple. It has advanced sensors, it can immediately detect the target, has high accuracy, and is equipped with long-range missiles. This means you don't need to get close and you don't need to engage in a dogfight. This is the new style of air combat. Whoever spots the other side first has the advantage. Whoever locks on first has the upper hand, and whoever fires first, that's where the fight ends. For Iran, it was only a matter of seconds, but they lost an aircraft without even being able to fight back. In the end, the change was clear. Before, it depended on flying skills and quick reflexes. Now it's all about sensors, detection, and technology. And in this battle, it wasn't just the F-35 that won. It showed how air combat will be won in the future. The most important thing in this event isn't the actual shooting, but the fact that there was no dogfight. That's really the point. This shows what modern air combat looks like now. It's fast from a distance and without close-range fighting. On March 5, the Israeli Air Force released a cockpit video. Here, you can see how advanced the F-35 is. It used the electro-optical targeting system, or EOTS. This is a built-in sensor that isn't mounted in an external pod. It uses infrared and can detect targets even from a distance. In the video, the Yak-130 is clearly visible on the screen. The target is clear and its movements are easy to follow. You can also see that the Iranian aircraft is trying to evade and maneuver. But according to analysts, it seems desperate. The reason is simple. The Yak-130 is not a full fighter jet. It's just a light aircraft for short-range combat. Meanwhile, the F-35 can spot it before it can even react. It's already locked on and within the right range to attack. So no matter how much it tries to evade, it won't make any difference. In the pilot's actual audio, you can hear the line, completed, target down, the target is down, continuing to strike. The last part, continuing to strike, is important. It means he's not just focused on air combat. He still has a mission on the ground and other targets that still need to be taken out. According to the report, the Yak-130 came from Mehrabad Airport in Tehran and became a threat to the Israeli aircraft conducting strike operations inside Iran. What the F-35 did was straightforward. When the threat was detected, it was shot down and the mission resumed its original objective. This shows it can make an air-to-air kill and still continue its air-to-ground mission. Here you can see the new level of air warfare. You no longer engage in prolonged combat. You eliminate the threat immediately and continue the mission. There's no pause and no second round. One detection, one lock, one shot, and the fight is over immediately. What happened here wasn't just about taking down a single aircraft. This shows how fast the F-35 moves and how continuously it operates. The pilot didn't stop after the kill. The target was taken down, and then he went straight to the strike mission. That means no wasted time and the job continues. Another video from the ground also surfaced. In the footage, you can see the aircraft falling on a mountain north of Tehran. From the crash details, it looks like it crash landed and there were 2 ejections. 2 people ejected because the Yak-130 is a 2-seat aircraft. There's a pilot and a co-pilot. At first, there was news from Iran claiming that they shot down a USF. But later on, it suddenly disappeared from the media. It turned out that it was their own aircraft that crashed. There's still no official confirmation about what missile was used, but according to analysts, it was possibly an AIM-9. This is a short-range infrared guided missile. It's a bit unusual because the F-35 is known for long-range combat. It wasn't made for close combat, but this incident showed that even in this kind of situation, it can still move quickly. It can lock on quickly, fire immediately, and confirm a hit in just a few seconds. This shows why this incident is important. This isn't just about an aircraft crashing, but about how the F-35 is being used. The F-35 program has been discussed for a long time. Some people say it's too expensive, there are delays in development, and it's not good in dogfights. And those criticisms do have a point. It's true, it's not meant for close combat, and it wasn't made for traditional dogfights in the air. But that's exactly the point. It wasn't made for that kind of fight. Its design is simple. Spot the enemy right away, attack before they get close, and finish the fight quickly. In the end, what happened to the Yak-130 made things clear. It wasn't an accident, and it wasn't luck. This is exactly the job of the F-35. It's not meant to fight for long, but to end the battle before it even begins. Many people say that the F-35 can't beat the F-16 in a dogfight. And that's actually true. It's not as agile, and it's not meant for close combat. But the question is wrong, because the F-35 wasn't made for dogfights. Its real purpose is simple. Find the enemy, identify them immediately, and finish the fight before they can even fight back. That's exactly what happened to Tehran. The incident with the Yak-130 is a clear example. There was no chase and no close combat. The battle was over before it even started. Stealth played a big role. The F-35 is hard to detect on radar. It's like it's not on the enemy's screen, but it can see its surroundings and has a clear view of the battle. This means you can see the enemy, but they can't see you. Because of this, the result is simple. You see them first. You shoot first and you win. This is called the shoot first concept. Attack from a distance before the enemy can react. For the enemy, they don't even know what happened. The fight is suddenly over. And now this has been proven. It's no longer just a theory. It really happened in an actual battle over a capital city. Another important point is that the pilot who did this wasn't a veteran ace or a famous name. He was still fairly junior. This means it's not just the pilot's skill. The aircraft itself plays a big role. If before, skill was the basis of combat, now systems and technology are a much bigger factor. The aircraft used was the F-35I Adir, Israel's version of the F-35. It's based on the US F-35A, but it has its own upgrades. One of the most important is the electronic warfare systems. There's a standard system called the AN/ASQ-239, but Israel added its own technology to it. They don't disclose the details because it's classified, but it's clear that the US allowed them to customize it. This means the platform is flexible, and there's a high level of trust in its use. In the end, the claims that it's not good in a dogfight don't matter as much anymore, because the more important question now is whether dogfights are still necessary. And based on what happened, it seems they're not anymore. Now let's talk about why the F-35 is extremely dangerous. It's not just because of stealth, but because of what it truly carries. The F-35 Adir, used by Israel, is not just an ordinary jet. It's a complete system designed to dominate in battle. It carries various weapons and upgrades. This includes the Python 5 missile, which is heat-seeking and extremely fast. It also has the standard weapons of the US. And most importantly, it has its own Israeli software that's different from other F-35s. This is important because Israel retains its own control over it. They can change the setup depending on the situation, and they're not just relying on the US system. When it comes to the engine alone, it already has the advantage. The F-35 has a single F-135 engine with a power of around 43,000 pounds of thrust. Meanwhile, the Yak-130 has two engines, but the total is only around 11,000 pounds. This means that even with just one engine, it's almost 4 times more powerful. It can reach speeds of up to Mach 1.6. It can fly faster than the speed of sound. As for range, its combat radius is around 670 nautical miles. According to reports, it can attack inside Iran even without refueling. But the most important thing of all is not the engine and not the speed. It's the sensors. This is where the fight becomes one-sided. One of its most important parts is the AN/APG-81 AESA radar. It's not like the old radar that rotates. There are no moving parts since control is electronic. As a result, it scans extremely fast, can switch targets instantly, and can track multiple targets at the same time. While the enemy can usually only track a single target, the F-35 can monitor many. It's like having extra eyes watching the surroundings. It can also work in 2 ways. It can actively scan or stay quiet while just listening to the environment. This means it can see without being immediately detected. This is the most dangerous part. It can detect, track, identify, and attack before the enemy even realizes there's an F-35 nearby. If we look back at what happened to the Yak-130 in Tehran, we can see how this played out. It tried to evade and maneuver, but it was already too late. It was already locked on before it could even react. In the end, this is the new reality of air combat. It's no longer about how the plane turns or the number of pilots. Now, systems and technology are more important. And in this kind of battle, it's clear who has the advantage. Now, this is where the fight really becomes almost unfair. There are analyses that say the F-35's radar can detect up to 23 targets within 100 miles in less than 9 seconds. This means that in just a few seconds, it already knows where the enemies are, how many there are, and which ones should be prioritized. While it's doing that, that's not its only job. It can also map the ground, conduct electronic attacks, and generate radar images. It's like the simultaneous work of an entire team, but done by a single aircraft. When it comes to weapons, it also has a big advantage. The F-35 has an internal weapon bay, which means the missiles are inside and not exposed. Because of this, it's harder to detect on radar, even when armed. With this setup, it can carry 4 AIM-120 missiles while in stealth mode. These missiles have a range of around 100 miles. They're not just simple fire-and-forget weapons. The missile uses its own radar and navigation system. Even with jamming or interference, it can still hit its target. Even better, while the missile is in flight, the F-35 continues to provide it with updates. This means that if the target evades, the missile also adjusts while in the air. Because of this, the chances of hitting the target are extremely high. It reaches over 95% according to estimates. It's like a sniper in the sky. It can see the target from afar even before the enemy notices it. And it can launch a missile that is sure to hit even if the target moves. In many situations, the enemy doesn't even know there's an F-35 nearby, but the F-35 already has it locked, and it doesn't just have radar. It also has a distributed aperture system, or DAS. This is made up of 6 infrared cameras surrounding the aircraft. These cameras combine views, so you see everything.
Kabuo ng full 360-degree view.
This means the pilot can see in all directions, even underneath or behind. It can be seen immediately on the helmet display. If there's an enemy behind, there's no need to look back. It will immediately appear on the display. In the end, the change in air combat is clear. It's no longer about who can fly better or dodge faster. What's more important now is who sees first and who fires first. And in this kind of battle, most of the time the fight is already over before the real encounter even begins. Now let's add why the enemy almost never really stands a chance. Aside from the radar and DAS, the F-35 has another important system, the Electro-Optical Targeting System, or EOTS. This is the system that was used to capture the footage of the Yak-130. It is used to track targets using infrared. The difference is it is built into the body of the aircraft and does not stick out. Because of this, it's harder to spot while it can still clearly see the enemy. When you combine the radar, the DAS with 360-degree vision, and the EOTs, you can see that the pilot has a complete view. There are almost no blind spots. Right now, it's rare for a fighter jet to match this kind of combination. If we go back to the Yak-130, you can see the huge gap. Its sensors are simpler and it wasn't made for this level of combat. This means the pilot of the Yak-130 has almost no idea where the F-35 is. Most of the time, he still needs help from ground radar or visual contact. But even there's already a problem. The F-35 has stealth and can see from much farther away. This means the fight is over before he even sees the enemy. If you look at Iran's other aircraft, you'll see the same situation. The F-4 Phantom is old and its systems are outdated. The F-5 is even older and is only for basic combat. The MiG-29 is one of the most advanced among them, but even then, its radar range is only around 50 to 60 miles. By comparison, the F-35 can see much farther, and its tracking is much clearer. And what's worse, the MiG-29 can barely see the F-35. Even the Su-35, which is a more modern jet with a radar range of around 240 miles, still doesn't have a guaranteed advantage. Because of the F-35's stealth and the way it combines data from different sensors, even if the Su-35 is searching, it's like searching in the dark. Meanwhile, the F-35 has already locked on and fired. Because of this, Israel has already prepared for the possibility of the F-35 fighting against more advanced jets like the Su-35. This means that even if the enemy looks strong on paper, preparations are still taken seriously. But the most important point is this. On March 4, over Tehran, this was not just a fight between two aircraft. It was a battle between different levels of technology. According to reports, the Yak-130 is one of the most advanced aircraft in Iran today, and that was the one that got hit. In the end, this makes one thing clear. This is no longer pilot against pilot, and it's no longer speed against speed. This is technology against technology. And in this kind of battle, it's clear who's ahead and who's falling behind. This is Iran's real problem. Think about it. A country with almost 90 million people making military plans for decades, and with allies from Yemen to Lebanon. But when it comes to air power, they're severely lacking. Their most advanced aircraft is a Yak-130 trainer jet. That means it's not really meant for high-level air combat. Their other planes are even more problematic. The F-14 Tomcat came from the U.S. before the 1979 revolution, and it's been retired from the U.S. Navy for a long time. The F-4 Phantom is from the 1960s. There are only a few 29S, and now they're also old. Because of this, they were forced to buy new ones like the Yak-130 and Su-35 from Russia to close the gap. But there's a problem. Russia is their supplier. In their deal, Iran provides drones and missiles in exchange for military equipment from Russia. As of now, they have received a Yak-130 and 28 attack helicopters that arrived in January 2026. There is an even bigger plan to buy 48 Su-35 fighters worth around $6.5 billion, which are scheduled to be delivered from 2026 to 2028. But in reality, these haven't arrived yet when the fighting resumed, and it looks like it will take a while before they do. The reason is simple. Russia is also lacking. Many countries are canceling their orders, like Egypt and Indonesia, and China is already making its own aircraft, like the J-20 in terms of production. Russia was only able to make around 24 jets in 2024. This means it's only enough to replace their own losses in Ukraine, and there's almost nothing extra to sell. Because of this, some aircraft that were supposed to go to Iran ended up in other countries like Algeria. It doesn't mean that Russia abandoned them. They're still supplying them, but not enough, and too slowly. So when the battle in Tehran happened, that Yak-130 was almost the best they could bring out. What does this mean for the whole conflict? There are two possible outcomes. First, Iran might withdraw because the whole world saw the huge gap in technology. They might get scared and avoid a bigger conflict. Second, they might resort to other methods even more. Because they have nothing to match in air combat, they might focus on drones, missiles, and other ways of attacking. In the end, one thing is clear. The number of people and resources is not enough. The time spent planning is not enough. If your technology is outdated, you will really be left behind. And in this battle, it's not just about a single plane crashing. This means something much bigger. It's just one battle, but the impact is already huge. Iran lost their most modern jet, and even worse, the pilot didn't even see where the danger came from. That means no matter what plane they send, the same situation could happen again. They have no assurance that they can fight properly anymore. At this point, they only have two choices left. First, hold back. They could choose not to fly the remaining jets so they won't be completely depleted. But there's a trade-off for that. If they do this, they will give control of the skies to the enemy. They won't be able to do anything while the attacks against them continue, and they have no way to stop it. Second, keep fighting even though they know they're at a disadvantage. And this isn't just about the fight outside. There's also pressure from within. They need to show strength to their own people and to their allies like Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others. If they appear weak, they could lose trust and support. That's why, even if it's dangerous, they still try to show that they can fight. After the war that happened in June 2025, they hurried to acquire more weapons. They made a deal with Russia.
Para sa Verba MANPADS.
There are also talks with China for CM-302 missiles. The CM-302 is an anti-ship missile that is fast and can hit ships. This is one of their ways to strike back, especially at sea. But even with new weapons, the main problem still remains. They know that in air combat, the enemy has a big advantage. So what might happen is that they will still fly jets like the Yak-130 F-4 Phantom and MiG-29 just to show that they are fighting back. But the result is clear. They will face the F-35, which is more advanced, can detect faster, and is capable of attacking from a distance. In this situation, they will only lose more and become even weaker. Meanwhile, the other side does not run out of capabilities. Israel has almost 48 F-35 jets with more on the way and additional units already ordered. This means the pressure will be continuous and their forces won't be depleted right away. And remember, they've been using the F-35 in actual combat for a long time, so they're already skilled at using it effectively. In the end, the situation is clear. If Iran stops, they'll lose control of the skies. If they keep fighting, they'll lose even more. Whatever they choose, they're still at a disadvantage. And in this fight, it's not just about courage. It's about who has the capability to finish the battle quickly before the enemy can even fight back. The story doesn't end there. The F-35 has already accomplished many things that show just how advanced it is. It's not just about shooting down a plane. In 2021, Israel was the first to use the F-35 to take down drones. This means it's not just for fighting planes, it can also take on different types of targets. They were also the first to use the F-35. In this setup, the plane is no longer focused on stealth. It carries more weapons because the missiles and bombs are now exposed. This means the F-35 has a choice. It can fly quietly and be hard to detect, or it can use more weapons for a stronger attack. Depending on the situation, it can adjust. This is important because every use of the F-35 in real combat provides data. The plane isn't just being used, they're also studying how it can be improved further. The U.S. and its allies use it to better understand how to further enhance its performance. And this isn't the final version yet, it's still being upgraded. One of the most important upgrades is the Block 4. This includes new software and more advanced hardware that will further improve the capabilities of the F-35. One of the biggest changes is the black, which will be replaced with the newer AN/APG-85 ASA radar. It is more powerful and detects targets farther than the previous version. This means it can detect enemies earlier and has a longer range from which it can attack. If you think about it, the F-35 used in the fight against the Yak-130 is one of the most advanced jets in the world. But what they're doing now is making it even better. This means that no matter how powerful it is now, it will become even stronger in the coming years. The real lesson here is not just about a plane being shot down. It's about years of technological development. Stealth, sensors, and long-range weapons were combined to create an aircraft capable of finishing the fight quickly. And when this is used against an enemy who can't keep up with this level of technology, the result is clear. In the end, the F-35 was made for the kind of battles happening today. And as time goes by, it continues to show just how advanced it is and how big its advantage is in battle.